What up, folks? Back at it with a slightly new look. We've got a new green screen. We'll see how it works. Yeah, we're testing it out. Going to check out, see just how well we can get this to work. Learn a few tricks from a friend of the channel who was able to help me with positioning it and all that fun stuff. I'm still working on it, so there may be a few technical issues. If so, well, I apologize now. So, yeah, we'll just go with that. Yeah. So, welcome back. And we are going to jump straight back into Kingmaker because we're on the hunt for main story content, if memory serves. And, well, actually, no. We were going to start speaking to all of our party members because we need to start getting their stories and if we're ever going to have side content. So, let's take the time to do that now. We're going to talk. Amiri utters a weary sigh. All right, spill it. I'm listening. We're just talking. Don't you like it? Amiri shrugs several times, perhaps flexing her muscles or maybe just filling the silence. Don't know, she admits at last. Depends on what we're going to talk about. If it's about monsters, swords, or scars, I approve. It's good. And if you're going to ask questions like why or what for and how, screw this. Amiri looks at you over slowly, head to toe. Or you got even harder ones. Tell me about yourself. This simple question seems to puzzle Amiri. She scratches her head, then starts counting on her fingers. First, I'm a barbarian. I'm strong. I grew up in the realm of the mountains of the Mammoth Lords. I left my tribe, the Six Bears. Amiri looks thoughtfully at her four bent fingers and shrugs. And I like fights? She concludes, bending her thumb. Hey, what's going on, Apocryphal? How's it going, brother?
Green screen.
Thank you very much. I just got this set up yesterday, as a matter of fact.
Blue shirt looks purple.
Yeah, and yeah, I'm actually not wearing a purple shirt. I swear, it's actually blue, but I'm still working on the color gradations other than the green screen. But yeah, I really like the way it's coming out. So yeah. Yeah, the opacity of me has, yeah, I know, I love the clean look that it gives the stream. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I still have a few things to work out, like my opacity primarily. I look kind of ghostly, but, well, like I said, it's a new piece of tech and I'm still messing with it, so with any amount of luck, it won't be horribly long. Let's see here. What's it like to be a barbarian in the Six Bears tribe? Our people are big and strong. We can cut a monster in half with one swing. We can walk 3 days and nights with no rest. We can eat whole fried aurochs. I guess you had to do a lot of training to become as strong as you are. Ugh, man, that sucks being stuck at work like that. Sorry to hear that, bro. Training? No one freaking trained me. The boys of the Six Bears got the training. All I could do was watch. Mary's eyes gleam with anger. And you know what? They were all crappy. They were all still crap even after all that training. Because I kicked their butts hard. And animals, bandits, monsters, all thought they were stronger than me. Idiots. Amiri spits on the ground. Because if you start a fight, you think you can win. You think you're stronger than your enemy. Amiri raises her chin proudly. Well, that's a good thing. I mean, after a fashion. I defeated them all. See all the scars on my face? What does the realm of the Mammoth Lords look like? Huge and freezing. No place for weaklings. Amiri narrows her eyes as if evaluating your ability to survive her homeland. Tribes hunt auroch herds to survive. Aurochs are fast, so tribe follows herd for days, just not to die of hunger. If you are weak, you stay behind and die in the snow. Tribe cannot stop. Also, there are giants and mammoths. Sometimes demons come too, and the mastodons, and the saber-toothed tigers. Amiri grins. You would survive, I think, for a few days. Why did you leave your tribe? Amiri flushes, because they were assholes, all of them. Men were cowards and scoundrels, and women were scared like sheep. Amiri rolls her bloodshot eyes in fury. Men think no girl could be a fighter, because they are weak. They're afraid women could beat them. And females just not. Go sow hides, cook meat, and watch kids. That's what they always say. But I'm a warrior, damn it. I won't cook hides and watch meat. Well, that could explain why she doesn't do it very well. She's doing an ass backwards. Amiri is already shouting, her fists clenched tightly. I told them so. I went hunting with men. And what did I get? Still the same. You're a woman. You stay home. Even gave me a nickname, the Soft Chieftain. Like a warrior woman was a funny joke. Damn, I even went to hunt those shit-faced frost giants, and there... Amiri stops suddenly, breathing heavily, sweat beading on her forehead. After a moment, Amiri waves her hand awkwardly and forces herself to grin. So I left. Cowards, scoundrels, and sissies they were. That's why. You're quite a good fighter. Amiri jerks her head up. Quite good, huh? Compared to who? If I were a crappy male, I'd fight better. Is that what you say? She glares at you, eyes narrow. Or you could say, or you say it could be better. Like, go home, get some training, Amiri, right? I meant exactly what I said. You're a good fighter. Don't raise your voice to me ever again. No, we won't be saying that. 2. You're good in a fight, an excellent warrior. I'm just giving you a compliment, that's all. For several more seconds, Amiri continues to glare at your face with sudden suspicion. Then, all of a sudden, she mellows. True, I fight good. It's what I do best. Yeah, I think we're good. You're rather rude, you know. You bet. Amiri grins then suddenly frowns. I'm a fighter, big and strong. Everyone's afraid of me. I can't play the softy. Who would ever fear me then? The contemplative expression disappears from Amiri's face, replaced by a dreamy grin. I enjoy being feared. When I pass by and all the sissies almost faint, knees trembling, teeth chattering, shit dripping down their pants, Amiri falls silent, fascinated with the picture her imagination has created. Thanks for telling me. Let's talk about something else. Why not? Why do you want to kill this tusk gutter so much? He's a monster. We kill monsters. What? No. What's here so difficult to understand? Let's see here. That's a formidable sword, but it's not just a simple weapon, is it? You bet it's not simple. Check out how big it is. She proudly raises the blade, and you notice that even though Amiri is extremely strong, she still has difficulty wielding such a large sword. This sword belonged to a real blasted frost giant. I killed the beast and took this looker for myself. Fits me perfect. It's my damn trophy. Amiri's eyes flash with a menace, as if challenging some invisible enemy by taking away her taking away her trophy. Okay. Thanks for talking to me. Let's speak again later. Talking. When will we do some monster killing instead? Amiri sighs and turns away. Well, that finishes her dialogue for the time being. We'll have more, of course, with her later. Now I have to find everyone else. That's a bit of a trick. Thal. Just all greet you with a nod. Speak. I would like to hear your story. Stories. Thal shrugs. Stories are boring and a waste of time. I have killed. I was exiled from Keonan. I died. I was raised by Urgoth's gift. That's my story. Who were you before your exile? It's rather amusing. I belong to a wealthy family and held a high position in the courts of Idara, the capital of Keonan. When my little wrongdoings were revealed, the trial was held in the very same court where I tried cases and delivered sentences over several hundred years. An awkward situation, don't you think? Who did you kill and why? Family, 4. Jathal's voice is calm and ordinary, as if speaking of something trivial, but why is the more interesting question. What is the worth of 1,000 years if you can enjoy it like your first 10 dozen springs? The elf's voice sounds unusually vehement. Everyone considers elves ever young, but our youthfulness is a mask, a threadbare virtual gown. What lies underneath? The dust of years and jaded repetition. With each year, the dust grows thicker, and erstwhile joy ceases to excite and cloy, as a dish you've tasted 1,000 times. Long did I search for a way to avert this fate. And don't I, who has truly tasted life, deserve a better lot than those benumbed old elves who close themselves to the world? And I found a way in the ancient texts of Urgoth, a ritual involving the blood of my kin, a trifle that would make each day feel as a holiday, created specially for me. The ritual gave strength not only to my body, but to my mind and soul, and my mind whirled with every sensation, each sip of wine or silken caress. Oh, how I miss this. My cousin was the first I used for the ritual. It was a simple matter that passed her death as an unfortunate accident. But the enchantment would not last. I had to find another, and again conceal my trail. With the third death, my family grew suspicious, and upon the fourth, my deeds were fully revealed. Such a pity. If not for this, my unlife, even now, would overflow with burning pleasure, for I have dozens of useless relatives. Let's see here. Let's see here. I'm not one to judge you for your past deeds. Fair, judge me for my present form, and better yet, for the benefits we can provide each other. Do you have family in Keonan? Anyone who is dear to you? You mean someone I would hesitate to sacrifice? Perhaps my daughter. I would regret the wasted effort. The creature turned out quite well, like a properly trained dog or a well-managed horse. Is exile your only punishment for murder? For an elf, Jethal says pointedly, exile is a serious punishment. There is no other Keonan in this world. Even I, who despises its hypocrisy, must admit as much. How did you die, and what happened after? Jethal frowns. I don't remember my death. I was stunned by the sentence of exile, and I admit showed weakness. I wandered aimlessly, absorbed in despair, without concern for my safety or sustenance. And then I remember desolate rocks, a stone I lay upon, a convulsion passing not only through my whole body, but through my soul. Then I awakened, cold, calm, my body overwhelmed with strength, but haunted by a strange internal silence. There were bloody prints of bone feet on the stone next to me, a sign of the goddess. A battle scythe lay nearby, and that was the first and last time I heard Urgoth's voice. She spoke but 3 words: "Hail the Inquisitor." That is all. She has neither addressed me nor answered my pleas ever since. I will not bother you with the story of how I tried to comprehend my new condition. Soon I had a chance to put my new powers to the test. A group of my kin had tracked me through the woods. They were insolent and would pay dearly for this, but I had to reckon how I might free myself from their present chase. A powerful protector from among the short-lived could help me, and the Sword Lords seemed suitable. That is all. Tell me about your birthplace. From your question, I assume you're not from Keonan, right? Right, I was born in other lands, but I always wanted to know more about the homelands of elves. I hope you do not ask from idle curiosity. Keonan is the birthplace of the elves. The other races are allowed to visit within reasonable limits, usually only as far as Greenhold. That's the enclaves for half-breeds and the short-lived. A whim of our queen. I enjoyed going there sometimes, as to a wild beast show. Beyond this caricature of a city, Keonan is a mixture of grandeur and the sad remains of ancient glory. Next to today's graceful dwellings lie the ruins of ancient monuments and fountains. Elves prefer to live in small groups, in secluded settlements. The most outgoing and ambitious live in the capital, Idara. Daily life is filled with the efforts of 100-year-old infants seeking worthy goals, and 1,000-year-old stone cynics entertaining themselves howsoever they can. That is all. It's scarcely worth mentioning that even this gloom is far more tempting than anything one finds in the lands of the short-lived. I'm afraid my story sounded too skeptical. You should definitely visit Keonan. Only there can you really understand what it means to be an elf, with all the benefits and vices that come with it. Enough talking about your past. What's it like to be undead? Do you wish to know what it means to me personally, or what powers and limitations it poses? Do you regret not being alive anymore? A shadow passes over Jathal's face. You surely know how to ask questions. She says nothing for a long time. Two desires led me through life: to feel pleasure time and again, and to achieve perfection. Unlife brought me closer to the second. I am changeless now, torn from time. The chaos of the world and even the soul circle have no power over me. But everything comes with a price. Most things that brought me pleasure in life are meaningless to me now. How can I decide which is better? A bright life full of pleasures is better than unlife, though eternal. Perhaps, but the choice was made for me. I have nothing left but to follow the will of the goddess. How do healing spells, prayers, and potions affect you? Dreadfully, of course. Your healers had better stay away from me in battle. The undead are healed through interaction with negative energy, and I can perfectly manage that on my own. You don't need to sleep, right? I'm spared from that bothersome need, but I hope you do not take this as a reason to invent additional responsibilities to entertain me during the night. I spend this time meditating and addressing the goddess. What about, carnal pleasures? A tactless and facile question. That pleasure is now as senseless to me as food or wine. Action without feeling. Thank you, I have no more questions about this. Tell me about your goddess. It might sound strange, but I know less than others about Uragoth and her faith. My transformation into her Inquisitor was unexpected. But I will answer to the best of my knowledge. What do you know of Uragoth herself? Oh, certainly. Uragoth was once a mortal woman, basking in life and all the pleasures it had to offer. Her passion was so strong that Uragoth rebelled against Pharasma, against life itself and its laws. After her own death, she escaped the power of the Lady of Graves and returned to the world as a goddess and the first undead. Since then, she has protected all who submit their souls to pleasure and passion, paying no heed to worn-out mortals and the dictates of laws. What does it mean to be an Inquisitor of Uragoth? This question is more complicated than it seems. An Inquisitor is by nature the most zealous defender of their faith. The hand of their goddess is in mundane affairs. When I received this title and power, I expected that Uragotha would tell me my mission, but this never happened. The goddess remains silent. There's only one reasonable explanation I can imagine. Discovering what's expected of me is a part of my mission, so I reflect on this, make my prayers, and wait for a sign. Does Uragotha feud with the other gods? No, not Uragotha, but Pharasma still tries to call her to order, and Serenade to heal her. Jathal laughs at the absurdity. What does Uragotha require of her followers? To enjoy, to taste exquisite dishes, to feel the lover's caress, and drink the enemy's suffering. A wonderful religious obligation, isn't it? Knowledge world check passed. What is the cult of Uragotha forbidden, or why is the cult of Uragotha forbidden in much of Golarion? Because Golarion is plagued by narrow-minded cowards, some tremble at the freedom granted by Uragotha, others fear the wrath of Pharasma and her priests. Enough about this for now. What made you follow me? Curiosity. The need for a reliable ally. You see, I must come to understand what my goddess seeks from me. Uragotha gave me the powers of an Inquisitor without declaring her will to me. I await her reply, any hint or trace or clue, and I suppose our meeting was no mere accident. Besides, Jathal cringes, I imagine that several Keonan assassins still pursue me. They never risked attacking me while I was under the patronage of the Eldori, and they are unlikely to attack while I have reliable allies like you. Why do these assassins follow you? I don't know. They can't have been sent by the Queen. I am branded an outlaw, but my punishment was exile. And it is not custom for elves to contravene their own verdicts. My attackers shouted something about threat and blood. I suppose they're a splinter group, or feeble-minded zealots, or someone on a quest for personal revenge. Thanks for the conversation. Farewell. Okay, we'll leave her be for now. We'll see if we can't find the rest. Try to think of where...
Inside the building?
No, well, Lindsay's in there, yes. But I'm looking for Hiram at the moment. I'm not sure exactly where to find him. Maybe upstairs. Oh, there he is. Oh, that could explain it.
He's blind.
He's hiding. He's sitting right in the middle of everything. No wonder why I couldn't find him. Hiram pulls his beard, muttering something that could either be prayers or curses. Upon noticing you, he winces. Huh? What? Ah, it's you, Becca. Did I startle you? I'm sorry. Oh, no, that doesn't matter. I was just contemplating the futility of existence and the worthlessness of the universe. The ways of Gyrotis are strange, are great. My humble mortal mind cannot fully grasp them, but I do what I can. Hiram smiles apologetically. All this reading, man. Definitely gives you a dry throat. Tell me about your past. My life is divided in two parts. The first was filled with blind wandering, doubts, and attempts to serve Torag. The second part began when I accepted Gyrotis into my soul and received a clear vision of the world. What exactly would you like to know? Where are you from? My life story began in Larad, city of dwarven clerics and acolytes. They served Torag and the other dwarven gods, Torag's brothers, Angarad and Magaram, Torag's wife, Fulgarit, and his daughter, Bulka. His sons, Grundanar, Coles, and Trud, and also Torag's sister, Drangrit. Hiram curves his lips in contempt. I wouldn't be surprised if they built a temple to Torag's pet dog. Sorry, I let myself get carried away. Hiram sighs and pulls his beard several times. Larad is the second largest dwarven city in the Five Kings Mountains. It's built up around numerous temple caverns, which serve as places of worship for all the dwarven gods. Many pilgrims from every corner of Galarian come to Larad to pray to their gods. Some remain to live there. This city is simply imbued with faith. You can't swing a dead cat without hitting a cleric. It's no surprise, inspired by the aura of this city, that I decided as a young boy to dedicate all my efforts to becoming a cleric of Torag. You like getting hit by dead cats? What? You once tried to serve Torag? Not just tried, it was a burning passion. I craved it by day and dreamt of it at night. Hiram shakes his head as if amazed by his own stupidity. You see, Becca, from my first days, I felt the presence of the god at my back. I heard his whispers and felt his power through the nature of... felt his power through the nature of this power, or though the nature of this power was unclear to me. I thought Torag himself was trying to speak to me. I did all I could to understand his words. Oh, what a naive fool I was. I had no idea that Torag, that uncompromising, conceited god, glamorized by all dwarves, was capable of betrayal. He turned away from me, Becca. He left me in the hour when I put all my hopes in him and desperately needed his support. Torag is the god of craftsmanship, so every follower, especially the clerics, must smith their own suit of armor. The day when this work is finished is like the second birthday for a dwarf. He's newly born in the eyes of Torag. Hiram sighs heavily and falls silent for a time. My second birthday never came. I couldn't make armor. Not even a sword, not even a simple nail. My hammer smashed my fingers and fell on my feet. Molten iron burned my hands. The clerics laughed as they healed me. They used to say I was cursed by Torag, so finally I gave up any attempt to please their betrayer god. Even if Torag really has rejected you, is that enough reason for you to leave your homeland? You don't know much about dwarves, Hiram lets out a sad sigh. How could a dwarf cursed by Torag go on living in a city where every single soul bows to Torag? I was alone, disgraced, humiliated, insulted. A lone tear glints in the light before sliding down Hiram's cheek and hiding in his beard. I was trying to drown my sorrows in drink, but even the owner of the cheapest pub on the road would laugh at me while he put those mugs in front of me. I couldn't take it any longer. I wanted everything to end. But there was one thing that kept me going and prevented me from ending my life. I could still hear that divine whisper behind my back. It was yet faint. It took me a long time before I could hear it clearly. But having heard it once, I could never forget it. It was clear that none of Loraz's deities favored me, so I left the Five Kings Mountains and went out searching. I didn't think dwarves ever worshipped Grotus. How did you learn about it? Oh, but that blessed day became the beginning of a new life. Alone and abandoned by all, I spent many dull hours in a filthy tavern by the roadside. Oh, loving this game so far. Have you played Apocryphal? Have you played this? Any of the Pathfinder games? Either of them, I should say. Because thus far, Alcat's only put out two. This one and the new one, Wrath of the Righteous. Okay. All right. Are you a fan of games like Baldur's Gate? The CRPGs. If you are a fan of the CRPG genre, this is one of the absolute best examples of that genre of game. Flat out, bar none. Baldur's Gate 2 was a really good game. I loved Baldur's Gate 2. The depth and complexity of the character development, the side questing, the writing that was in game, the dialogue that you got between the characters, the voice acting of all the characters that were voice acted in Baldur's Gate, all of them were spot on, right? I would say that this surpasses Baldur's Gate 2 by an order of magnitude. I have played PoE, yes. At least in parts. I think I've got a run on that going on my other computer, yeah. And this is far and away a much better game than PoE, 1 or 2. Yeah, and it's also a better game than Divinity: Original Sin. Yeah, just because. Okay, this Divinity: Original Sin and Pillars of Eternity, the character creation in that is fairly deep. It's fairly robust. But you get your character class, and that's about the extent of it. This game, on the other hand, you get your character class, your base class. And then you get a subclass, if you want one. And inside of that subclass, you have a couple of different paths to take inside of just that one subclass. That's for one character class. And it does that for each and every single character class. I have as of yet to see a single class in here that has less than 3 subclasses to it. And there are 26 character classes in this game. Yeah. So your path through the game can be so different from somebody else's, even if you choose the same character class. That and the choices that you choose to make. The very first beginning section, when you very first start the game, okay, the very first attack, there are, I think, 3 separate choices that you make during gameplay that seem perfectly reasonable. Yeah, the choices all seem perfectly reasonable. Whether or not to break into the armory and take some weapons and stuff that might be better than yours, armor and stuff that is probably better than yours. There's even some money lying around, which, we loot goblins, we steal everything, right? But then at the very end, just before your final party has gotten together, you have some moral choices to make about the choices you've already made. Do you apologize for breaking into the armory, or do you just kind of figure it as, look, we were in the middle of a freaking fight. I had to have weapons, and that's where they were, so I got them. Well, if you do that, then you actually alienate one character, and you don't get that character, and you have to make do with someone else. You stop and you make a decision as to whether or not to help these soldiers that are caught in a fire. Do you give the reasoning that the reason you helped them was because they were they were people and they needed help? Or do you give the reason that you helped them was so this way here they could help you? Your response to that decides whether you get one character or another as a companion. So yeah, all of your choices in here have actual in-game consequences. And and the in-game consequences that are felt as you play through multiple times. So I mean, it's really, really interesting, and the writing is top-notch. Some of these side quests, I've seen the entire game played through a couple of different times actually, but I've seen the entire game played through, and the writing in this game is absolutely phenomenal. So yeah, again, a prime example of the classic roleplay game on computer. You could do much, much worse than to pick this game up. And Wrath of the Righteous is, I mean, hand in hand, it is in the same vein. They've actually added more character classes, more subclasses, prestige classes. Yeah, needless to say, I could go on for a while about that. Hey, no problem, man. That's what we're here for, right? When we see a game that somebody else hasn't seen yet, and you're asked for an opinion, you give the best opinion you've got. Oh, but that blessed day became the beginning of a new life. Alone and abandoned by all, I spent many dull hours at a filthy tavern by the roadside. I don't recall the town or even the country. I had no money. In fact, all I had was a hunk of stale bread. I was weary and almost fainting from hunger. And that was the moment when the whisper from my God became more clear. It was like he was calling me. At last, my suffering had come to an end. It was a miracle, Becca, and I had paid full price for it with my torments.
Really?
Yeah.
Glad to hear.
Right. I couldn't control myself. That sounds like a problem. I walked out of the tavern and straight into the nearest forest, and there I found a ruined temple in Trowan, the lost god. Several figures clad in robes were holding a silent service there. A service to a god I knew nothing of. What? Yeah, I know. I needed a female character name, and I was tired of using the same one that I use constantly. I had a character that a friend of mine had, actually, in Robotech. Her name was Bridget Gunner, and I loved that character. She was so much fun to play. Well, Bridget ended up making her way into several different games, and keeping the attitude, which was really fun, like I said. But, after a while you get tired of the same name, so I was searching for a female name, couldn't come up with one, and well, decided to name her after the wife. And now the bit of hilarity ensues whenever she's in the room and I happen to be reading all this crap. I should have seen it the other day. She was reading while I was reading this stuff. Right? Yeah, exactly. She was reading on her reader the other day as I was reading some of this stuff. I was reading some of the lines. I came across one line. Something other. Becca. She looks up. She's like, "Huh? What? What'd I do?" I'm like, "I wasn't talking to you." So yeah, it's provided a few minutes of pretty fun levity. None minded when I stood beside them. For the first time in my life, I felt myself at home. My new brothers told me that they were clerics of Grotus, the god of end times. They were traveling around Galarian, spreading the teachings of Grotus, despite all the persecution, contempt, and misjudgment they received from others. I gladly shared this burden with them, for now I knew whose voice had whispered to me through the years. So wait, you couldn't even make a simple nail, and you blame Torag? Are you suggesting that my problem was not a curse, just my own inability to work with metal? Or maybe you're saying that I was just too lazy? Arm looks into your eyes defiantly, his hands trembling with suppressed rage as he runs his finger over his beard. You're a fool if you think so, an ignorant fool. Have you ever met a dwarf who can't handle a smith's hammer? Even our children craft knives. No. Torag is the cause of my sufferings. The betrayer god deliberately cursed me, just to make me a laughingstock of me. Yeah, because, the gods take such an interest in our lives that, Harm raises his hand and shakes his fist at someone above. But I won't let myself to get angry at you, Becca. You're an ignorant and blind soul, and my aim is to guide you through this dying world that marches towards its end. I will open your eyes or die trying. Grotus will be pleased by either outcome.
I am not ignorant.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Absolutely. Let's talk about something else. What else would you like to talk about? I'd like to learn more about dwarves. Why do females have beards? I don't get it. That makes absolutely no sense to me. Most dwarves are self-satisfied, stubborn fools serving Torag. They don't deserve my good attitude. Hiram winces. But you can ask what you want to know. I'll try to answer. Tell me about the Five Kings Mountains. They're big, they're made of stone, kind of humpy. The Dwarven Kingdoms, yes. Well, it's to the south from here. It's survived many trials, and there will be many more yet to come. Hiram strokes his beard, contemplating. There is no unity among the dwarves, Becca. And the five kings rule over our people. They sit on the thrones of the five greatest cities, and with every passing day it grows harder for them to come to any agreement. The only thing the five kings mountains, or the only thing uniting the five kings mountains, is the sky citadel of High Helm, a great dwarven fortress at the mountain's heart. Had the dwarves always lived on the surface? Oh no. Eons ago, all dwarves lived deep beneath the surface, and they did rather well, judging by the historic records. They built fortresses befitting noble dwarves, but our restless god, Torag, sent us a prophecy, the quest for the sky. He ordered all the dwarves to abandon their fortresses and press upwards, to show their beards to the sun, as they say. That's who says. This journey was a long and bloody one. Many dwarves perished on the way. Others turned back, keeping to their ancient strongholds, eventually to turn into evil Duragar, gray dwarves. But those who survived reached the surface and found the sky citadels, the most glorious cities in dwarven history. Tell me about the sky citadels. Oh, they are the peak of creation. Glorious cities built by the ancient dwarves who had finally reached the surface after many hardships, performing the final labor in the quest for the sky on the surface of Galarian. Hiram's eyes glittered with admiration. They are steadfast, tall, magnificent. They are beautiful. The 10 citadels were built by dwarves, but we managed to keep only a few. The citadels crumbled, and the orcs, sworn enemies of our people, trampled their blessed streets and ruined the gorgeous palaces of the ancient kings. Hiram's eyes grow misty with tears. These were heavy losses, and it disgraced our people. High Helm is the jewel of the citadels that remain. It is located in the heart of the mountains and the heart of every dwarf. Yes, yes, my heart too. There is a dwarven saying that if an enemy reaches High Helm, every dwarf from all of the corners of the world will come to defend it. Hiram casts a sad glance at you. I'd be there too, but not to help the citadel's defenders. I'd be there to witness the fall of our people with my own eyes and mourn it. I would fall upon the cold stone and raise my final prayer to Grotus. I have some other questions. I have many other questions. I'd like to talk about your god, Grotus. You wish to learn about Grotus? Hiram seems surprised and pleased at the same time. Yes, of course. I will answer anything you ask. What are Grotus's teachings about in a nutshell? Grotus is the end of all that exists. Hiram smiles. He's obviously been waiting for this question. Look around you, Becca. What do you see? Look around and realize that everything will be destroyed. Our clothing and armor will turn to dust. The walls of the palaces will crumble into ruins. The trees will fall, and you and I will die much sooner than that. Grotus is a timeless watcher. He's been locked away by Pharasma, the goddess of rebirth. From her boneyard, he watches over the world, knowing the time for the final reaping shall come. He's the bloated moon hanging in the sky. He's the harbinger of the last days. He's the one who will stay when all others are gone. Pharasma has Grotus locked in her boneyard, so she is stronger than Grotus? Of course she's stronger, but for now. Hiram nods with dignity, stroking his beard. Grotus is weaker than Pharasma, and many other gods. I would be a fool if I tried to claim otherwise. If Grotus were stronger, the end times would already have come, wouldn't they? But the powers of the other gods fade away. They dissolve slowly, a grain in a century. Grotus collects those grains and waits. He doesn't need to hurry. He knows that his time shall come. Usually clerics speak with their gods. What does Grotus say to you? What is his will? Hiram shakes his head in resignation. Grotus doesn't speak to his clerics. Actually, Grotus doesn't need any clerics. The dwarf raises his sad eyes to you. He only allows whispers to be heard, and only by those who are dying to hear them. His words are unclear, but they call to you. His voice comes with the soft rustle of fallen leaves, with the woeful wailing wind in the mountain pass, with the roar of the raging blizzard, and it calls to you, strike out on the road. Onwards, always onwards, over the pass, over the bridge, and further along. Up ahead, where the edge of a gray road flashed, a candle sputtered for the last time before dying. Onwards, always onwards, until your feet can carry you, can no longer carry you. Hiram falls silent, submerged in his own thoughts. Thanks for telling me about Grotus. I've learned enough for now. Let me ask you, what do you think about Grotus? Well, what did you think? Apocryphal. I like your tales. There's an inner truth to them. It was interesting to learn about him, no more, no less. To be honest, I don't want anything to do with him. Now, our alignment, I believe, is neutral good. I can check real quick, I think. No, I can't. But I believe our alignment is neutral good. So we believe there's a balance to all things, but that our working toward the good ends isn't going to upset that balance. Matter of fact, it'll help maintain it. So which response would you give in this particular instance? Personally, I'm thinking 2. It was interesting to learn about him, no more, no less. I think that's what we'll go with, at least for now. Yeah? Hiram nods in contemplation, or in contentment. I'll be glad to talk with you about Grotus anytime, Becca. After all, that's why I travel in your company. Have you ever regretted your decision to abandon Torag and start worshipping Grotus instead? You know, your question might seem offensive, but I am not offended. I realize you ask it because you wish to learn more about Grotus. Hiram squeezes his beard in his fist, but in a moment he lets it free again. Torag betrayed me, Becca. All he's ever done was look down with contempt on all my futile efforts to please him. I crafted armor plates, but they fell apart with a single strike of a fist. I smithed swords, but no, they broke at the hilt. Torag's priests used to say that such failures were the curse of their uncompromising piety. Hiram's fingers grab his beard with such force that it seems he'll tear a handful of it out. It was Grotus who opened my eyes. He showed me that failure is a manifestation of his will. The time is near, Becca, and every failure is just another step towards it. Torag's curse is only half the reason for my failure. The other half is the blessing of Grotus, which I have born from early childhood. Hiram smiles warmly at this thought. So the short answer to your question is no. I never regretted opening my soul to Grotus. Okay, from what I've heard, Grotus doesn't spare the minds of his clerics. They all go insane eventually. Is that true? Huh, who told you that? I'd like to look that slanderer in the eye. Hiram bursts into laughter, but you can't understand what's so funny. You see, sanity is quite a relative concept, which is true, it is. Hiram says as his laughter recedes. Each of us is certain that he is the sanest creature in the world. Meanwhile, we periodically doubt the sanity of others. So what happens if 2 or 3 people claim that someone else is insane? Does that make it true? Perhaps the accusers have lost their minds themselves. The longer a cleric listens to the whisperers of Grotus, the better he comprehends the essence of his designs, and the deeper his understanding becomes. When enlightenment comes, the mind of a cleric ascends to a new level of understanding, which is inaccessible to simpler souls. Is this insanity? And this is for you to decide. My decision was made long ago. When I reached enlightenment, I shall accept it with joy and delight. eagerness is commendable. Karen smiles broadly. I'm glad you noticed it. I dreamt that Grotus will someday notice my eagerness, too. Thanks for the conversation, and we'll talk again later. Haram nods with dignity. I'll be happy to continue our conversation later. Okay. So, seems to me as though the clerks do eventually go nuts. That's not good. Why would someone submit themselves to that sort of thing on purpose? I think that's everyone that we have, with the exception of Lindsay. Let's go in and talk to her now. Hello, Lindsay. A halfling girl with tousled hair wearing a dusty traveler's outfit sits chewing the tip of her quill. Just a moment, how should I put this? Oh, I know. She scribbles something quickly in a notebook. Scrawled with verse, raises her eyes and gives you a bright smile. Oh, hi. Tell me about yourself. What do you want to know? Where are you from? I'm from all over. I was actually born in Galt, in such a tiny village that it's not even on the maps. If it weren't for my teacher, I'd still be living there, milking goats, weeding turnips, swilling homebrew, having babies, and using books only as kindling. Who is your teacher? He's a true saint. He was once an important person in the capital, at the Church of Shellen, but he got in trouble with the authorities and went on a self-imposed exile to the tiniest, most godforsaken, priestless village he could find, the one where I was born. He wanted to open a school, but the villagers wouldn't let him. You can heal us all you like, but no putting any ideas in our children's heads. It'll only distract them from their work. But he did teach me on the sly. He taught me how to read, how to write. He gave me books, poems, legends. He was the one who told me about the Archknights of Avestan. And when I told him I was going on a journey, he gave a magic ring so that Shellen would protect me from harm. I haven't seen you since I ran away from home. I hope he's all right. I ask Shellen every day to grant him long life, and new students. Archknights of Avestan? Who are they? Oh, you haven't heard of them? How can you be a heroine without knowing of the most epic stories in the history of stories? No, I won't spoil anything. You should just read about them yourself, every single chapter. Their adventures are what gave me the idea of going on a heroic quest and writing about it to begin with. And now, look at me, here I am, on a heroic quest. How did you become a bard? When I realized there was nothing for me at home besides more radish patches, I decided to run away. A traveling book peddler, Tessie the Quill, happened across our village. Well, I stuck to her like a burr and wouldn't let go until she agreed to take me as an apprentice. Together we traveled everywhere, to Brevoy and Taldor, and even Usalav. And then I found out about the Academy of Grand Arts in Patax. And I thought, well, I love reading stories. So I can surely learn to write them too. I enrolled on my first try, and they even gave me a scholarship. Then they expelled me, but that's okay. They'd already taught me all the important stuff, and now, with Shellen's help, I'll manage on my own. Do you worship Shellen? Yes. Not to offend the other gods, but she's the most important of them all. All the other gods guard the world as it is. But only the eternal Rose, the goddess of beauty, calls us not to the world as it should be. Why are your clothes so messy? Lindsay waves her hand carelessly. Forget it. I can't waste money on looks. I'd rather buy books instead. In 100 years, when people are reading my works, they aren't going to ask whether the author had holes in her sleeves. Let me ask you about something else. Oh, of course. Please ask. I'd be happy to chat all day. You come from Patax, right? Tell me about it. Oh, I love Patax, even though they kicked me out. Joyful place. What's life in Patax like? Actually, Patax has always been one huge mess of thieves. Bandits, river pirates, smugglers, fences, card sharks. It's always been home for the likes of them. But that was before Iravetti became king. With him, a whole different life began there. Iravetti always wanted to make history, but not as another bandit with a crown, though that's exactly what he is. He wanted to be glorified through the centuries as a great patron of the arts, so he built the Academy of Grand Arts. He spent lots of gold to assemble the best artists, poets, and musicians. Of course, the very best ones refused to go, but he got what he wanted in a way. If Patax was once just a booze barn for thieves, now it's a cabernet. What do you know of King Arabetti? He won his crown in the game of cards, which says as much about Patax as it does about him. He's fiendishly clever. Some cheats I know told me that from the moment he appeared, he started pulling off such schemes that the old city masters just scratched their heads. With him in charge, gold flooded into Patax, and also he's incredibly, unimaginably, fantastically decadent and conceited. I mean, are we sure he's conceited? Maybe he's just convinced. I don't know. Getting drunk with whores at the pub. That's not Lord Arabetti's style. Oh no. He aims higher. Dressing up like male Cagliostra? His fingers sting in the unquenchable fire. Oh, I see. With a golden codpiece and holding a 3-week orgy with dancing on the rooftops, parades, public executions, and a contest for the best ode to the great unrivaled king. That's more like it. That sounds like a good time. I mean, I have to admit. He also likes singing. And he orders his guards to make the citizens gather for his shows. May she Ellen have mercy on his listeners. Tell me about the academy you studied at. You know, jokes aside, I'm thankful to Arabetti for building it. But he has no taste at all, whatsoever. He likes his art loud, bright, grandiose, and most importantly, glorifying His Royal Highness. He kicked out the best charcoal artist because he didn't wish to spend money on gray scribbles. He sacked a masterful flute player from Tianzi for playing too quietly, and instead ordered them to open a kettle drum class. He even ordered the academy to expel me. And for what? An innocent limerick. Would you like to go back to the academy and finish your studies? I'd like to return, but on one condition. If they threw out 3/4 of the professors who teach there now, and returned all the ones they bandish. If you ask me, I'm proud to have been expelled. My art was to Arabetti's liking, then I would have reason to be ashamed. As long as mediocre lickspittles sit at the academy, and those with real talent beg on the streets of Patax, I will not cross the threshold of that place. Let me ask you about something else. Of course, please ask. Tell me about that book you're writing. What is there to tell? You've seen some of my rough drafts already, haven't you? It's a book about you and your adventures. I'm writing the whole truth just as it happened. Well, the whole artistic truth. You know, no glory, no story. Why are you writing? What's the point? When I was at the academy, Obald, the insightful, began his literature course with the question, what is a person? And he answered, a person is a storytelling animal. Our world does not consist of things. All these woods. All these woods, seas, and cities. It consists of stories about those things. The stories we tell to ourselves and to each other. Just think about it. Centuries will pass, and there will be no one... and there will be no me and no you. All your subjects will be long gone, but you and I will live on in people's memories and influence their deeds thanks to this very book. No offense, but your command of the language is not that good. The truth doesn't hurt me. Who do you think my most severe critic is? That's right, it's me. It's my first real book, and I have much to learn. But don't you worry. It will do your feats justice, and if I put my foot in my mouth here and there, then we can print a second edition, revised and corrected. Your book is full of inconsistencies. Well, yes, I can admit that. Sometimes one has to bend a few details for the sake of dramatic effect. It's called poetic truth. I write about everything as if I saw it with my own eyes, even parts of the adventure that I wasn't around for. But I do always carefully question everyone who was with you at the time. Think of it as a general picture. In the end, you're the heroine of this book, and I'm just the storyteller. So what kind of character am I? In books, everything is simple. These are the heroes and these are the villains. In life, of course, it's completely different. You have to make difficult decisions, and I don't always agree with you. But that's what makes you a complex, multifaceted character. You're like a force of nature, wild and unpredictable. You're full of surprises. I doubt I could make up a protagonist like you, even if I tried very hard. How do you feel about me reading your work in progress? Well, these are only drafts, but of course you're welcome to read them. Just keep in mind that if you don't like what I write about, I won't change a single letter, so don't even ask. Of course it's a book about you, but it's my book. Understood? Small writer's eyes glow rebelliously. As long as you write the truth, I have no objection. I swear, Lindsay put her little hand over her heart. Truth, only truth, and just a teensy bit of imaginative exaggeration. Let me ask you about something else. Tell me about your friendship with Tessie the Quill. What is there to say? The books woke my urge to travel, but it was only thanks to Tessie that I managed to really get out of my village. At first, Tessie tried in vain to get rid of me, but later, when I told her I was staying in Patax, she even shed a tear. I wonder where she is now. What's the deal with the ring you always wear on your finger? Ah, this. Lindsay holds her arm for you to get a clear view of the ring. It was a gift to me from my first teacher. It's magical, imbued with the powers of Shale and no less. When I get myself in trouble, it transports me to a safe spot. So, please don't be angry with me if I suddenly disappear from a fight. I'll wait for you here. Promise. I have to go. Just don't leave without me. Of course, I could just write whatever you tell me, but if I want to stay cooped up in a dusty room, I'd still be sleeping through lectures at the academy. And that's all of our companions for the time being. Oh, thank goodness. Thought that was never going to get over with. Okay. We didn't catch any side quests from them yet, but we will. Right now, let's go ahead and see if we can actually catch that boar at home. I believe we've got everything we need. Threes, scimitar plus 1 is 2, 7. All of our stuff is better than that. All right, and away we go. Oh, that's something that's that you'll find interesting, apocryphal. When you leave a particular area, as opposed to leaving behind your loot, the stuff that you picked up from the enemy that you were fighting, let's say, you can actually, when you go in there, when you're leaving, I should say, it will give you a list of all the things that are left there. So you have every opportunity to collect the stuff that you missed. So you never actually leave it behind. I know that Solasta had something, kind of like that, where they you could send in scrappers who would go through and collect the stuff for you so that you didn't have to take it all with you. And that was a really nice feature. But this one here, it's not quite that advanced, but it's really a nice system so that you don't end up missing stuff. It has actually saved me a couple of times in various instances here where I would have left something behind that I actually needed. All right, by the look of it, the boar is not home. Either that or I am missing something. Which is eminently possible. I've been known to miss things before. You seen anything, babe? All right.
I don't see no big boars.
Me either.
Oh, wait, I see you.
You are the one. You are the one that. You are the one that is boring.
I got you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'll be here all night.
All right, let's see here. This is the abandoned hut that we're supposed to be going to. So, we are actually not going to go there right now. We're going to make our way down here. Oh, there it is. That's why we couldn't find it. Aha!
What?
Tuskgutter's lair is here.
Oh, that's not my fault.
It's all your fault. It's all your fault. Random encounter. Oh no.
Didn't do it.
It's all your fault. I didn't say you did it. Ah, this is an interesting encounter. Watch this one closely. Apocryphal, you'll love this. This is really cool. Technically mage. A group of well-armed fighters approaches. One of them raises their voice, pointing at you. Hey you, stop right there. Kalana, look at this one. Will she do? Kalana, the group's leader lays her cold and watchful eyes upon you. This one? I suppose, but I don't like her snout. She studies her companions carefully but nonchalantly as she's examining goods at the market. Listen, you tramps, we're from the Technic League. Our slave died and we need a replacement. One of you will be coming with us. The rest of you are free to go. I advise against resistance. It would be a quick trick to kill every one of you. Choose now the one that the one that you will give. Let's see here. Of course, we're not going to give up one of our own. No negotiations with slavers. But before that, what is this Technic League? One very serious organization from Numeria. People with whom you'd better not start a fight, and who you better not bother with foolish questions. Okay. No negotiations with slavers. Big mistake. And we fight. All right. Now, I have this on turn-based mode. You do not have to have this on turn-based. I can actually turn this off, and then it becomes real-time with pause. So you can certainly do things that way. And if it's easier for you, that's great. It certainly does speed up combat to have it real-time with pause. I personally am used to turn-based combat, though, so that's the way I keep things. But we are going to take out these mages if we can, but we're going to attack the swordsman first. There we are. And then Amiri, however, will go up and attack the mage.
Nice hit, Amiri.
Right. She's doing quite well. Cause fear. But she's saved. Nanner. Alright, an archer. She's got a crossbow, so fine. We're going to try to take out this mage. And of course we missed. Why wouldn't we?
Of course, you wasn't even aiming at her.
Right.
Because you know my aim sucks.
Yeah. Oh, you have magic too, do you? Okay, well, if I'd have known that, would have been a different story altogether. If you actually kill the conjurer, the construct that they conjured goes away as well. So that's definitely a bonus. And then Valerie. You can reach, okay. But we're going to attack the mage first. I'll take one of you from here over there in a moment. Of course. Come, go up there and attack this. Now, odds are we are going to lose this fight. But we're supposed to lose this fight. Amiri, come over here. You'll cross paths with the Technic League. This shall be your undoing. Okay? Still trying to get rid of this mage. Ah, nice. Got it.
Nice shot.
That'll help considerably. What is Lindsay doing? Why is she not? There we go. Yeah, you deserved it. I don't know exactly what it was, but you deserved it, whatever it was. All right, we're going to bring Valerie down this way. Begin attacking over here, at least until we can get Amiri over this way. Hiram, no, you stay there and help out. Alright. To fall. Nice.
Oh, nice hit.
Yep, yep. Only one left. We may actually win this. That'll be novel. Again, you're not really supposed to win this. Nice. But we did. But this gives us another side quest that we can tack on. So we'll definitely be doing that. Scaling farm. Stock. One-handed. 39 damage. And a scroll of divine favor. We'll be taking those. Alright, everything else can stay. Alright. This is actually a scripted encounter. This is bound to happen to you at some point. As soon as you cross the river. So it's a very interesting encounter. Typically, depending on the difficulty that you're playing on, you are going to lose this fight, as you are supposed to. When you do, they actually take one of your companions. So it makes the next fight just that much more difficult, of course. But what ends up happening is what I'm hoping will happen this time. Once they all decide to actually stop and settle. Okay. Let's see here. The insidious henchmen of the ominous Technic have disappeared into the thick wilderness of the mysterious Stolen Lands, but not for long. Soon we'd be upon them. First, though, we have to pick up their trail. To do that, we understand based on what we're seeing. Okay, we're going to try to understand the spell that she used. Failed Narva's Arcana. Unfortunately, a spell is such an elusive thing. Try to find anyone who could have seen these despicable people. Yes, we succeeded. This wilderness only seems deserted at first glance. Wandering around the area, we met a few mushroom gatherers and hunters who told us where they'd seen our quarry. We hadn't discovered the exact position of their camp, but we were closing in. After this, we have no other way to... Well, crap. But technically it has been revealed anyway. So we can now sneak into their camp. And there it is. We will be going there, most certainly. Because there are, more characters there that we need. Let me go back here. Okay, no, we do need to go this way. And again. And then up to the daisical. Fine. We'll rest. But yeah, if they actually manage to steal one of your characters, then of course, like I said, then you have to go in and you have to go and rescue them, which makes for a very interesting encounter. Oh crap, we're in trouble. We have been attacked, and we're still encumbered.
Not the attacked.
Yes, the attacked. Alright, let's see what we got going on here. Where are we being attacked from? Up here this time. Alright. Yeah, and back here. Hello, bandit. Haha, take some of that business. Bethel, get a move on, chickie. Alright, next. Amiri. Come on.
Too bad.
Don't know. She can't do anything right now. I would explain it. Valerie, you're gonna have to get a move on up here. Let's go. Cut him. Your turn. Lindsay, turn around and shoot this fool. How are we doing down there? Okay. He's not dead yet, but we're working on it. This should ought to finish him off, hopefully. Nope, not quite. 1 damage. Yeah, not with only 1 damage, that's not going to happen. Well, I mean, she hit, so that was good.
They're walking.
To thaw, get a move on. Yeah, attack of opportunity, I get it.
He missed.
Yep. Amiri, you finally wake up, did you? So that was her problem before, she was still asleep.
Yeah. Is that what it was?
Yes. Valerie, let's see if you can come down here and take care of this guy. There we go.
He's moving real slow.
Yeah, well, she's over encumbered, would be as for why.
And they're tired.
That's why they're over encumbered. Alright, next. Ouch. Alright, that would be Lindsay's turn. But she can't see it. Oh, there we go. That's better.
If you pointed to the right person.
Yeah, but that would help a little bit, yeah.
I can miss.
You didn't, though. You did 1 point of damage.
Woohoo!
Rock on.
It grazed him.
Yeah. Splat. I love the animations in this sometimes.
37 damage.
Yes, 37 damage. She's not messing around. No. All right. And that's that for all that. Now we come back over here and hopefully be able to finish our rest. Once they actually finally get there. Come on, guys. Let's go. Thank you. All right. Yep, we were able to finish our rest. That's good. Now let's go loot our bodies. Nothing we need. Still more, nothing we need. We got down here. Anything?
Nothing.
Nothing we need. Okay. We are out of here. Something else you can do too is you can check around in these areas. A lot of the time you will find perception checks that will actually allow you to find additional stuff, which is really kind of cool. The fact that they incorporated that particular mechanic into, a video game. And away we go to the Technically. We're not going to be sneaking into their camp as per usual, but well, one can't have everything, I suppose. Yep, there they are. Okay, before we do much of anything else, we are going to stop and do a few things here. We're going to input her rage. All right, we're going to
Blast you.
Pull her divine favor up. Get a stunning barrier going. We're going to pull off a bless. Let's see here. What else we got? No. Shield, no. Yeah, we'll go ahead and pull up a shield. And then with Lindsay, we are going to pull a blur on Valerie. And then we are going to blur Amiri. And then we're going to activate her song. All right, and then we're going to move ourselves up here and remove these turkeys from our skies. Lindsay, shoot him in the face. Thank you. For a whole whopping 2 damage, but hey, 2 damage more than we did before. And then, of course, Amiri puts him down for the count. Rock on. Lindsay, shoot him in the face. Thank you. Haram, I don't think you're going to be able to reach just yet, and you're not. Amiri, just calm down. We're getting to you. Goodness. Did you see that crab? She's just hopping to get into battle. Shoot him in the face.
1 damage. Need better move.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And look at this. Typically, Valerie is laying right here. Or, I'm sorry, Amiri is laying right here. So that's where you take the chocolate. Thank you. No, thank you. Let's see here. Technically, it's mage. Hello, Kilani. One mage, 2 mage. Okay, we've got 2 mages. Yes, I wish you would hit the... Huh? Mm-hmm. Ooh, that's not good. Valerie, what happened to you? Okay, she's shaking. It's fine. She's shaking, but not stirred. Right? Amiri, you're going to come over there and really put up a fight. There we go. You'll love to see it. Anytime you can walk up and one-shot these guys, that's always a good time. Nice.
Nice.
Very cool. Yes. And attack of opportunity, which missed, but well, can't have everything, I suppose. All right. And no attack of opportunity? Okay. Nice.
Two points for Lindsay.
I know, 2 for flinching. That goes down. Move her up there. And then Saul, or Amiri, sorry. My goodness, she's a damage machine. Cut him. Whack. And then.
7 points.
Mm-hmm. You might not falter, but you will, however, miss, because you suck. Finish him off, Lindsay. Or don't, I don't care. Fine, we'll just all do it. Thank you.
She's worthy.
Right. Kilana. Kilana drops her weapons and raises her hands, which are covered in blood. Mercy, don't kill me. Regengar, the half-orc, bears his fangs. That is how you talk now, wretch? I wanted to do this for so long. He casts a spell on his outstretched palm, and sparks begin to dance upon it. Octavia, the half-elf, puts her hand on his shoulder. Regengar, come now, let her go. It's one thing to kill her in battle, but executing her unarmed. Why spoil the joy of being free? Octavia, are you out of your mind? This filth is from the Technic League. By her own hand she enchained us. And you want to forgive her? Do you think she'll thank you? She'll just gather another band and try to catch us again. Before deciding her fate, I want to ask some questions. I will tell you everything. I know much. You will see. I am more used to you alive than dead. Tell me about the Technic League. It's an ancient alliance of wizards and scholars of the Numerian wastelands and its technologies. Now, if you hover over the green highlighted text, it gives you a broader explanation of exactly what it is they're talking about. So those who are unfamiliar with the Pathfinder world get a better understanding of it as they play the game, which I think is really, really nice. We are the mightiest organization in the world of Numeria. In the whole of Numeria. We possess powers that that the uninitiated can only dream of, and our agents are everywhere, not just in Numeria. Believe me, these are not people you want as enemies. Sounds promising. Only cowards with no honor reckon sheer power as a good reason for an alliance. Jethal raises her eyebrows, but doesn't grace Valerie with an answer. Is it normal for the Technic League to grab random people from the roads to enslave them? Kilana shrugs. The Technic League is so strong because it's never ashamed of taking what it wants. Whatever the law may say. We were missing a slave. We underestimated you. That was a mistake, of course. I apologize. What are you doing in this part of the world? I was sent by Maestro Janusz. He is a very important person and a mighty wizard who taught these two ungrateful slaves everything they know. He will be furious to find out they are free, and will certainly find the one who stole the Technicleague's property. Believe me, he does not need me for that. Whether you kill me or not, he'll find you in no time. You say this maestro guy of yours will find us anyway? And I guess then I guess we don't get anything out of sparing you. You'd best not anger the maestro. If you kill me, he'll be furious. Yeah, but he's going to be mad anyway. Oh, I'm so scared. You know, I actually like getting slavers and other assholes angry with me. Then I get to cut them to pieces. Why did you have these two in chains? Because we own them. The Technically spent vast sums of money on these two. We nurtured them, fed them, and treated them. Even taught them magic for many years. They cost us a fortune, and we're not going to just set them free, whatever your local customs say. We are fully in our rights. I don't have any more questions. Listen to me. Do not make any hasty decisions. I am an important person in the Technically. I have connections. You will benefit from such an ally. You see now what a slimeball she is? Step aside. Let me fry her. What do you think, Apocryphal? What do you think of slavers who come in and try to enslave your own people, for that matter, let alone slavers in general? Do we let her go, just in case we need an ally later? I mean, she was just following orders, I'm sure. I don't know. I'm tempted to let her go. I honestly am. Just because I know what happens if we do. I will spare her life. Go back to Numeria. Regengar strikes Kalana across the face. Get out of my sight, you filth. Thank the gods my friends are so soft. Alright, the Hand of the Technically side quest line is now done. You shouldn't have spared her life. On second thought, what difference does it make? Either way, she'll rot in the abyss. We're free. I can't believe it. Free as birds in the sky. Phew. Regengar holds Octavia tight and she laughs lightly and kisses him on the lips. Thank you. You have no idea how long we've tried to escape the Technically. This is a miracle. Who are you? I am Regengar, and this is Octavia. The rotten Numerian held us as slaves. But we are no mere scavengers. You see the crowd they had guarding us? It's because we use magic, and I'm not bad with a blade if it comes to that. They're all right, and we could use them on our team. What is the Technically? We've heard this already. A huge man-eating spider catching all of Numeria in its webs. They're a secret society of arcane spellcasters who study ancient technology. They have eyes and ears throughout this land and abroad. It is said they even have Keweth Kol in their pocket, the very sovereign of Numeria. They also control all the slave trade in the country. I've seen many young treasure hunters, adventurers, ended at the slave market. Ugh, they Technically rot in Abaddon. There's nothing worse than a nation in which secret criminal organization has consolidated power. Even an openly cruel tyrant is better than the infection that festers in Numeria. How did you get captured by Kalana? I lost count of how many times we tried to escape. I can't name all of the things we have tried. But we were caught every time. And then they'd just take us somewhere else. I don't know who'd want to buy us, but imagine how happy we were when we learned they were taking us to the river kingdoms, where slavery is forbidden. Indeed, we tried so many times to escape, yet in the end, the League itself brought us to the freelance. Under heavy guard, I'll grant you, but if it wasn't for you, who knows where we'd go next? You're good fighters. Want to join my group? Of course, Octavia, what do you say? I would be happy to join you. Okay, now we have an actual spellcaster. And that would be Octavia. She is actually quite good. But who do we replace her with? I'm thinking Jathal. We have 2 damage dealers already. We really don't need a third. I think
Whoever levels her and him up.
Yep. I can, and we're going to level them both up. Speaking of leveling them up, you should definitely keep an eye on this process. This is interesting. We're going to do that this way. So we are going to level up Octavia. This is what the typical character sheet for this game looks like. You have all of your information, typical of almost all RPGs. You'll notice she is a level 2 wizard, a level 1 rogue. There's a reason for that. She is actually on track for what is known as an arcane trickster. It's a prestige class that you get later on. I believe that we need accomplished sneak attacker, which we've got. Let's see here. Oh, okay, that was why. I had this on auto level up. Yeah, we'll be backing this all the way up. Okay, this is the way it looks when, you know, it's a typical character sheet. You have, in this particular case, you have 4 skill points to spread amongst the skills that are listed here. Your max rank is 3 in any given skill. She's maxed out a couple, gotten a couple of points in a few others. We move on to the next. Let's see here. This is where you choose your spells. You actually decide which spells they get and in what numbers. In this particular instance, they chose Reduce Person and True Strike. I don't like that. I don't like that at all. We are actually going to give her... let's see here. 1. 2. No, stop that. Okay. Level 1 is all she gets. Okay. So we're actually going to give her 0. We'll get to that in a moment. This person major armor. Snowball. Large person expeditious retreat. Major armor, snowball, color spray advantage, magic missile, and true strike. We are going to give her summon monster 1 as opposed to reduce person. Yes, that's fine. Okay, it will allow it. And then we'll go on from there. We're going to go back for a moment, and this is where you choose their feats. What was chosen in this particular instance, I don't know. However, accomplished sneak attacker, which we're going to leave. We are going to leave that. But we're going to go back. And this is the skill points again. Next. But before you get to the skill points, you actually got a chance to choose what...
Yeah, it is. He says, good Lord, this is complex.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Sorry. Let's start from the beginning. You get an opportunity to actually check their character sheet. And then when you check their character sheet, these are all of the different character classes, right down to here. These down here are all of your prestige classes. She is currently working on Arcane Trickster. In order to get Arcane Trickster, you need to have Trickery of 4, a Mobility of 4, a Sneak Attack of 2, the ability to cast second level spells, and a Knowledge Arcana of 4. We've gotten most of that, and next level will have most of the rest of it. So then she will be able to start on her path of Arcane Trickster. In the meantime, however, she needs a class in Rogue. Okay. Then you move on from there. I'll actually be going with Wizard. That's it. Next. From there, we choose her spells. We had chosen... summon monster. Yes. But I'm looking at Ray of Enfeeblement. I'm thinking so. Yep. Snowball she has. I'm thinking Ray of Enfeeblement, yes. Even though they don't suggest her taking it. I don't care. Ray of Enfeeblement, and we will give her True Strike, yes. Yeah, we'll do that. Okay. And then you move on from there. And, yeah. Okay, back. I'm actually going to let them auto-load, or let them auto-do all this stuff. It's fine. Back. Yes. And then we're going to go back into this. And let's see here. Yes, there we go. We're just going to go ahead and let them do this. But yep, and she is now leveled to level 4, which allows her access to second level spells. Which means that when she picks up level 5, she will then be able to get her first level in Arcane Trickster. So yeah, definitely, like you said, extremely complex.
You didn't.
Yeah, I haven't leveled him yet up. No, I haven't leveled him up yet, but we're about to, I think. Let's see here. Well, we'll have to wait until we get to wherever we can. Inventory maybe? No. Okay. I don't know how to get to where we need to be.
And just scroll. Can you scroll?
No, can't scroll. So we'll have to wait until we get into town or wherever. But in any event, yeah, it is extremely complex. And don't take my word for it by any stretch of the imagination. Poke around through the character classes, read through each one of them, read through the separate subclasses, and see how they interact with different alignments and stuff like that. It is so cool the way that they give you choices in this game that are alignment specific, even. So, and they're constantly giving you choices that make you balance your alignment. So you can be choosing a lawful evil character. They'll give you lawful good choice in one, but no lawful evil alignment, and they'll give you a chaotic neutral choice. So that you have to try to balance your alignment to keep it where you want it. So cool the way they do that. So yeah, it's really a fun game to try to do everything. All right, we'll be taking inflict light wounds. Thank you. Masterwork Estock. No thanks. Reduce person. Sure. Masterwork Estock. No thanks. More stuffs. Food
stuffs.
We like food. Wrong button. More stuffs up here. Gold and food. I like gold. Scroll of Bane. Beige armor. All right. Just like in like Diablo and stuff like that, they actually have a button to make sure that you don't miss anything. The tab button. Change her to +1, I'm guessing. And a book. Something else that's really interesting here. If you read these books, they actually give you bonuses, some of them. So it's a good idea to make sure that you read through each one of them. And that is especially true in Wrath of the Righteous, where the bonuses will actually show up on your character sheet, which is really nice. Did I ding?
No.
Oh. Huh? Rabbits! Kill the rabbit!
No, don't kill the rabbits. They're cool.
There is an option in this game that will actually let you feed that rabbit. That is the coolest damn thing, man. It really is. option, games, you're constantly bumping into games to where you see pets and you see, dogs and cats and all this stuff that, you sure they're interesting to see on the screen, but you can't do anything with them. They're just little flavor pieces that are thrown around. Not so much here. This is light armor. Good. Okay. I think it is. Just the skeleton armor. I have +1. That is +1 also. Lindsay has got a studded leather. She can't wear armor. Why do we have a rapier? She has got a short bow.
She hasn't.
Yeah, she's not supposed to. Nope. We are going to give her wand of magic missiles first off. Sit there on her belt. Let's see what else. Okay, belt lantern. It's always fun. Scorching ray. Reduced person. Okay. That'll work for now. But yeah. And then we're going to have to maneuver her around. There she goes. Alright. Now that we've done that, back to what we were doing before we were so very rudely interrupted. I know it's going to take us forever to get there. That's something else that's interesting too, is the amount of time that it takes you to get where you're going. But there are timers in this game. We have one major timer that we're actually working on, which is you have a 90-day timer when the game first starts. If you do not accomplish the very first goal they set you within that 90-day framework, your game is over. So yeah, make sure that you keep that in mind when you're out and about doing all the rest of the stuff and all that fun stuff. All of your resting, all of your travel time, all of that stuff, it all adds up. So,
Cool.
There are, at certain points in the game, hidden timers as well. They don't always tell you when the timers are. So here we are. The monster is here, and now I'll tear him apart. Yes, just watch me. And don't interrupt me. And Mary blurts out as if anticipating being cut off. I speak on when I speak on. She grunts at her eyebrows, and her eyebrows narrow. She clears her throat. There's a custom where I am from. A boy kills a monster in front of the elders to prove he's a man. That's funny. In our parts, boys must do something rather different to become a man. Mary throws an angry glance at the half-elf, and Octavia falls silent, but her teasing smile remains. The barbarian clears her throat in hesitation. In our tribe, girls don't get no initiation at all. So I arrange my trial myself. Like in the song about Kagol the orphan. I drowned a cave lion in a single combat. See, see the scars I got in that battle. And do you know what my elders did after I threw the lion's skin at their feet? They admitted they were wrong. Dream on. They laughed in my face. They said I scratched my belly myself and hired some man to kill the lion for me in trade for. Ugh. Later, they agreed my initiation, of course. No, they had no choice. But Amiri's voice wavers in anger as she spits on the ground. Must you really slay him in single combat? It'll take our whole party to bring this tusk cutter down. From a distance, Amiri examines Tuskcutter's muscular body and sharp tusks. Bah, you think I can't butcher a pig by myself? Though the elders saw the beast I was about to kill, the beast was about to kill a boy, they would help him. There's no shame in that. But it doesn't matter, I'm just saying. Now you stand and watch me gutting the beast. Let's see here. I see. Come on to battle. Gorm, watch me. With a battle cry, the barbarian charges the boar. I'm going alone. Got it? Sure, no problem. Whatever. Yep, you go alone. That's fine. Whatever, Chicky. And then we'll be right behind you. Lindsay, can you make that shot? I don't think you can. No, you can. I didn't think so. Well, let's try. I, on the other hand, might actually be able to make that shot. No.
Keep firing.
No, for now. Octavia certainly can't make that shot.
No.
Nope. Not that she didn't try much. Alright, now it's his turn. Hey, what are you doing? Like I can't do it alone? Oh, we know you can do it alone. Alright. We're actually going to let her do this by herself if we can. We're just here pretty much to watch. Yes, you are. Because if you can actually let her do it on her own, I think there's a kind of a bonus in it. And it's not like he's actually doing any damage to her, so why not, right? Oh. No, he finally did damage. What do you know? And it doesn't matter. Help Amiri kill Tuskcutter. Breathing heavily, Amiri stands over the corpse of the fallen monster. What'd you say? See me in action? I almost chopped his head off. Yes, a real epic battle, just like the sagas. I won't even have to embellish it for the book. That's it, trial done. Now no one dares say Amiri is weak. She grins and thrusts her chest out. You are a valiant warrior. Were there truly fools who ever doubted your strength? Some did, you know. I spit on them. No one will dare bark at me now. Are you hurt? Amiri snorts and examines herself closely. After a few moments, she grunts, scratches. Still, why do you want to kill this monster? You passed the test back when you were with your tribe, didn't you? Amiri's face reddens. Well, not just pups must pass this test. If a man is a newcomer to a tribe, he must bring a monster's hide. Prove he's not weak. Her voice trails off, then falls silent. I'm honored you consider me part of your new tribe. You're a strong and valiant warrior. Just don't start that Amiri stops trying to choose the right words. Don't talk to me about honor and valor. I know already. She frowns and turns away. Still, I owe you thanks. You have a true chief's heart. You know what? If we meet another monster like this, I'll kill it too. Not just for a test. Just that nobody would ever dare say Amiri isn't a warrior. Okay. And we collect all of that. Right. We're also going to search this area because, yeah, we're not about to let this opportunity go past. We might actually not be able to make it to this area again, so if you keep an eye over here on the lower right-hand corner, your combat log is over there. And it'll tell you when you end up making a perception check, whether you pass it or fail. Select all of that. Oh, hello. There. One to find traps, nice. A clear quartz. We'll take all of that, thank you very much. So yeah, sometimes these little side quests and flavor dialogues actually have a point. All right, and I believe that is everything and everywhere that we need to search. All right, and we are, peace, we're out of here. Cool. No perception checks, which was a little odd to me, but not unheard of, I suppose. Well, that's done now. That was a fun little side quest. Technically encampment. Pine patch. We are now searching for the
Over here. Over here.
what? That?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Actually, no. We're actually in the process of searching for the ruined temple. Now we'll go first. This is interesting too.
Wait. Just
a fun little flavor text that you get when they're camping, which is really neat. All right. Blade in the wilderness. South. More south. Random encounter. Oh no, we bumped into stuff. Whatever will we do? I know, let's kill it. Having reached the edge of the milky white blanket, we stopped. Never have I seen a denser, thicker fog in my life. Stretching my hand forward, I could hardly see the outline of my fingers, and if my arms were as long as my companions, I don't think I'd even see my elbows. We exchanged hesitant looks. It would be impossible to find one's way through this haze. Detect magic. One of us used magic to analyze the fog. We exchanged it was clear the gloom was of unnatural origin, but who or what could have spawned such a thing? Let's see here. We tried to light our way with a torch. The fire colored the fog in a homely warm tones, but this did not improve the visibility. Fortune favors the brave. Having formed a single line with our hands on each other's shoulders, we moved forward carefully. Soon the air became so damp it was hard to breathe, and we were soaking wet in the blink of an eye. With each step, our eyes told us less and less, until finally we were completely blind. It was positively impossible to continue this way. After a roll call, having made sure all of us were in place, we tried to turn around and walk in the opposite direction. Alas, we may as well have had our eyes closed. Stumbling and cursing anything and everything, we strayed for half the day. It was only by sheer luck that we managed to come clear of that place. And exactly in the spot we started out from. Tired, wet, and hungry, we swore that there was nothing that would make us walk back into that haze. Okay, so we're not going that way. And this is Glade in the Wilderness. Let's not go there just yet. Not just yet. Now we'll camp. Oh, goodness. I think we're actually going to have to go back to Oleg's for now.
You get too much crap.
Yeah, that too. That and we just bumbled into something else to fight. Oh, no, we didn't. Okay, wow. That's a surprise. All right, let's go ahead and go back up here. This is kind of our base of operations. Not only that, but there's a new event here, so... We've been spotted by the enemy. Oh, no. Okay. Oh, giant centipede. Spitting giant centipedes. Who is it that has our... Physical enhancement, exterior, telekinetic wrist, acid splash. We're going to turn that on, by the way. Acid splash, large person, color spray, no wall. Who is it that has our resistance to poison? Not me, Lindsay? No. Here. Okay. Well, I guess guess nobody does. That must have been Jathal.
Oops.
Oopsie.
You'd be
Nope, I don't have it, so. Well, why don't we do this instead? There. There's all of that. Now we need to wait. We'll wait until the enemy appears. Octavia. Valerie. Alright.
They're not coming.
I see this. They are not showing up.
Better find them.
Yep. By the look of it. Ah, there they are. Found them. Lindsay, if you would be so kind, my dear, as to shoot that thing in the face. Does it have a face, I wonder? I have no idea. And combat is finished. Well, that took forever now, didn't it? All right, search this area. Nothing? Really? Not gonna give me anything?
Did you know when you pull a picture, hourglass turns on its side?
Yes, I did see that.
Interesting to see.
All right, up the hill. You heard me, I said up the hill.
No, I refuse.
You can't refuse, you haven't refused the first time.
Well, fine, I fuse. Now I refuse.
I see. My goodness, how horrible. Oh, go ahead and get the heck out of here now that there's nothing there. We've seen that. And back to our journey, which was going a whole lot of nowhere. Continue. I have a feeling we're going to have to rest again before we get too terribly far along. Oh no, we've spotted the enemy. You can actually try to avoid these fights, but you really don't want to if you can help it. I mean, you really need the XP, so there is that. But my XPs! Let's go ahead and check behind us too, because I have a nasty habit of warping people in there. All right. Take some of that business. And how you like me now? Move Lindsay up. And then just keep ahead. You jump, there you go. Okay. Move on ahead. We can find the rest of these guys wherever the heck they're hiding. Oh, there he is. I didn't see him before. Found him. Take some of that business with my 1 point of damage. I'm guessing he had a bow. Bows always provoke an attack of opportunity when you use them. So does, for that matter, if you get knocked down, when you go to stand back up again, you end up provoking an attack of opportunity then too. So that's quite amusing. At least sometimes. Playing on some of the harder difficulties. Hey, what's up, Bella? Yeah, I know, right? I'm still working on it, but yeah. That was pretty much the best I could do and still get the color right. But yeah, I'm working on the opacity of my image. But other than that, I mean, I think it looks good, don't you?
Can be
He says not too heavy.
Right. No, I like it, man. Certainly. Ugh. Why am I not surprised? None of these guys can cook, and it's hilarious. That's okay, brother. I'm on my way out here in post haste and most directly myself. I'm actually headed back up here so that way there I can get everything all set and ready to save to end for the night. So yeah. Yep. Now, let's see here. Octavia. With a delighted smile, Octavia inhales the smell coming from Oleg's trading post. Fresh bread. I can't believe it. All this time that we sat in cages and crawled in the mud, and there were places in the world where they were baking fresh bread. And here we are. I bet they have clean sheets, and maybe we can even take a bath. A girl can dream. Get some rest. You deserve it. You can be sure of that. I've got years of rest to catch up on, and I'll be stuffing my face until I turn into a ball. You do so much for us. Is it all because you are so kind? Or maybe the half-elf smiles flirtatiously. Maybe it's because you've been charmed by my beauty. Taking me care of you because you're in my party now. We'll have to save each other in battle more than once. Forget about fighting for a moment. We all need a break, especially you. All right, enough talk. Fresh bread and clean sheets await. Yeah. We'll have to go through and talk to those guys at some point.
You gotta be stopped up. The guy. Level him up.
Yeah, we'll get to that. All right, we talked to Oleg because... remind me what his problem with Tuskgutter is dead. You could mount his head on the wall as a trophy. Oleg looks at the bloodstained boar's head with respect, touching its tusks and with his finger to test how sharp it is. That's one heck of a beast. I'd love to have a trophy like that, but a deal's a deal. The head goes to old Benson, and his bounty goes to you. All right, cool. Tell me about the Stag Lords gang and any other operating in the area. The other gangs that are still here try their best to keep a low profile. As for the Stag Lord's men, well, the most notable of them are his 3 lieutenants. The oldest one is a Kuros. He's from somewhere around Teldor. He's fierce in a fight, but from what I hear, he isn't cruel by nature. The other 2 are Dorovan and Aurox. They're usually seen together. Aurox is a mountain of a man with the mind of a 5-year-old, albeit a mean and bloodthirsty one. He's quite the fan of torture and bloody executions. Dovin, though, that one's a snake in a man's body. I hope never to meet him in the flesh. Rumors about him are more than enough to scare me. Okay, we'll speak another time. Farewell. Right.
Is there any sell stuff?
Yeah, I want to do that, yeah. But I wanted to make sure that all right. We'll get rid of all the stuff that we can get rid of now. What? Get rid of that. Get rid of Bane since we're never going to use it. Bless, we might. Full strength we may. Cure light wounds. Divine favor, maybe. Inflict light wounds, probably. Well, actually, no. Now that Zakal is not the party. Protection from chaos, communal. Protection from evil, communal. Brave enfeeblement, maybe. Reduced person, unlikely. Resist fire. Restoration. Shield of faith. Snowball. Gracelessness, no thank you. Breeze dead, we'll be using that. Alright. Wand to find traps. I'll get rid of the book too. Vicious retreat. Masterwork longbow. I don't know how the heck we got that, but sure, whatever. Alright, sell off the book. Organize everything by type. And we're good. And we made another 1,313 gold. Right. See if there's something over here worth bothering with. There are no bastard sword +1s or two-handed swords +1. So yeah, I don't think we need to worry about buying anything right away. Scimitar and a two-bladed sword. I wish like I could figure out what that was all about. T-shirt +1, full plate +1, but I think we bought the full plate +1 already. Ring of protection, belt of incredible dexterity, mighty constitution, charisma, wisdom, intelligence. Scrolls and potions. I think we're good on all of that for the most part. Books. All the add-on stuff. And the funny thing is, these stuff like this, no, this stuff here, one would think wouldn't have a use in game, but some of it actually does. Some of it has use as spell components for particular spells. So yeah. All right, and I think that is going to be us for the night. Pretty good progress made tonight, I believe. Finished off a couple of side quests, gained some new characters. Okay. Yeah, and that'll be that. Apocryphal, thank you for coming in and hanging out, man. It's always a pleasure seeing you. TJ, thank you for stopping in, man. I know you were busy today, otherwise you probably would have been here sooner. But yeah, it's always great when you can, pop in and hang out for a bit. We'll be seeing you later on tonight, certainly. Apocryphal, if you're up and around, I know that TJ streams kind of late for some, but it being 1 o'clock in the morning EST when he starts, but certainly a good time to be had hanging out in TJ's channel. If you're looking for that, you can find it here. 1 second. While I do all of these. There we go. Well, at least I got the the Earl right this time. So there's that. Even if it didn't get the rest of it proper. But yeah, swing by later on this evening. Tonight is community night. I'm not certain exactly what TJ is playing, but should be a good time. And we usually try to get everyone involved that we can. Also, don't forget this weekend, starting Friday, I'm sorry. Friday evening we'll actually be streaming later than our standard time.
Thank you, Apocryphal.
Well, thank you, Apocryphal. That is ever so kind. I appreciate you, man. I know we don't have much in the neighborhood of emotes available yet, but with luck that will change with time. We'll be streaming later on Friday night. We're starting at about 8 o'clock Eastern because this is beta test weekend for Icarus, and I cannot wait to get started. This week we're testing the, I know, but the emotes are nice, dude. That's why I subscribe to half the channels I subscribe to, is for the emotes. I love them. They're so handy. They're so useful, But Icarus this weekend, we're testing out the storm function this weekend. So we are going to have some severe weather effects, and that's going to be all kinds of fun to try to deal with as we're trying to build up. So yeah, and of course, every weekend that they're doing the beta test, you have to start completely over. You get to keep the skills that you get, but what you don't get to keep is the stuff you built. So that ought to be interesting in and of itself, just to see how that develops, especially with the new mechanics in the game. So yeah, that'll be fun. But that is going to be us for the night. Apocryphal, man, thank you very much again for the sub. Thank you for coming in and hanging out. Dude, that to me means a lot. we will see you guys again real soon. We'll see you again tomorrow, where we'll be playing Pathfinder again, continuing on, pushing on for hopefully more main story content. In the interim, may you have a good afternoon, night, day, or evening, depending on where you are in your part of the world. And we'll see you again real soon. Bye.